A warm welcome to you all. My name is Rohini, and today, as part of our Raagmala Picturing Sound series, we're going to be in conversation with famed Indian classical violinists Ragini and Nandini Shankar. Born to a family with a musical lineage spanning over 7 generations, Ragini Shankar began her training in Hindustani classical music on the violin under the tutelage of her illustrious grandmother, Padmabhushan Dr. Rajam, and her mother, Sangeeta Shankar, both ace violinists of India. Being highly gifted in her musical talents, she's also part of an Indo-French musical project called Sangeeta, formed by noted French composer Thierry Picou. She's academically trained in music and most recently a TEDx speaker. Both Ragini and Nandini have been highly applauded by music enthusiasts for being two of the most promising faces in Indian classical music. Let's now enjoy a short performance by Ragini. you, Ragini, for that enthralling performance. Nandini Shankar is one of the most promising faces in the world of Indian classical music, more particularly the violin. Known for her ability to make the violin sing, she inherits the legacy of the Gayaki Ang, or the singing style, on the violin from her gurus, her illustrious grandmother, Padmabhushan Dr. Rajam, and her mother, violin maestro, Dr. Sangeeta Shankar. Academically trained in music, as well as having reached a high level of proficiency on the violin, Nandini has received appreciation for her fusion experiments. She has 4 singles and an album to her credit. We also have a special performance by Nandini for us, centered around the special occasion of Ganesh Utsav. So sit back and let's enjoy. Nandini. That was an absolutely splendid performance. Today's session is part of a series being hosted by the CSMVS under the aegis of Museum on Wheels Outreach Initiative, supported by Citi India. The Museum on Wheels is currently hosting an exhibition, In Tune, the journey from sound to music. And our conversation with Ragini and Nandini will have us delving deeper into this fascinating subject. A warm welcome to my guests, Ragini and Nandini. How are you doing?
All good. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm a big fan, so I just want to start off with saying I'm so happy that we're chatting today.
Same here. We are also very glad to be with you all. Yeah.
I'm going to start with the fact that you're both born to an illustrious family with a musical lineage spanning over 7 generations. And this heritage, of your parents, your grandparents has been passed on to you. Would you say that this was a sort of default reason why you both pursued music, with the discipline and the passion that you guys have done so? Can we have, either of you start? So maybe Ragini, you can start first.
So basically, in our family, it's a tradition that when a child turns 3, the violin is automatically handed over to him or her. So
Correct.
it's not really a choice at that age, but it's more over a handing over of the tradition. So as a young kid, one doesn't even realize the seriousness of what one is doing, but then over the course of years, you realize, oh, it's such a gift to be blessed with this musical tradition, to be born in this musical family. And the most interesting aspect of it is that actually Nandini and me, we are the eighth generation of musicians in our family. So
Yes.
it's been 3 generations of violin. Actually, even my grandmother's father, he used to play the violin, and before that they were singers in the family. So being the eighth generation definitely feels very nice.
Fabulous. Nandini, was it a given that you both would be violinists, or at any point in your lives, did you consider even like choosing any other career or perhaps even another instrument?
So you know how South Indian families are. You being a South Indian yourself,
Correct.
uh, so the emphasis on education is immense. So
Yes.
both of us, we would like to say, are well qualified academically. Ragini is a mechanical engineer. I have completed my chartered accountancy, and apart from that, both of us have completed our masters in music. So of course, education was very important, and there always comes a time after your education when you think, I've spent so much time studying this, I should be doing something with it. But it was never either or. It was always a given that violin would be there. Do you want to do something else along with it, or do you not want to do something else along with it? So it was never that violin would go away and something else would come. And quite honestly, as far as instrument is concerned, uh, our grandmother has pioneered the Gaiki Ang on the violin, and years of research and hard work and passion have gone into developing this technique, which is so unique, so beautiful. Everybody in the north follows her today. So, once we started realizing, just like she said, about 10, 12 years down the line, we started realizing the value of the music that was taught, the technique that was taught. It's so beautiful and unique, you just can't help but fall in love with what you're doing. So I don't think we ever thought of picking up other instruments either.
What I also see is this fabulous feminine energy, as you talked about your grandmother. I'd like to believe that that was the sort of switch from the male bastion to the female bastion. It's the third generation of women who are holding the violin in your family with you. So how does that work? Like, uh, was there a realization that, yeah, we're doing something different? Or you said, no, because my grandmother used to do it, I did it as well.
I think it's more, of course, in the beginning, it's been a transmission of the knowledge from generation to generation. But I think ultimately, as you grow older, you make the choice consciously for yourself from within that you want to pursue this because it gives you joy. You're passionate about it. You want to do it every day. You get up and you say, oh, here's another day. I'm looking forward to spending it with my music, be it practice, be it recording, be it performing, or whatever it is. But it is your own choice of wanting to have music as a part of your lives forever.
So that's, of course, our mother and grandmother, they've really given us this choice. And since both of us equally, Nandini and me, have chosen this path because we love it. And I think that's what conveys on stage also, because as three generations on the violin on the stage, you will see the energy between us. We don't talk, it's just eye to eye contact, body movements, and it just, the concert just flows. We don't rehearse together. It
Oh,
just, no, never. It's always individual rehearsing, and then we go and sit on the stage, and it just flows, because Indian classical music is all about spontaneity, about improvisation. So you will see that on stage with all of us.
I do, and every time I see a concert where there's more than you, so there's your mother and your grandmother, I think that's a total treat, especially for fans who followed her and then, of course, been introduced to two other generations as well. Let's talk about the fact that outside of Indian classical music, you girls really have the chance to collaborate with other forms of music, and you also pioneer when it comes to, bringing that music into fusion forms. Tell me, what is the most exciting part about collaborating outside of the genre? I think, Nandini, you should take this question.
Sure. So I have actually collaborated with two musicians so far, one electric guitar and the other Carnatic fusion. And you know, it was never a conscious decision that okay, let's do fusion now, because our focus was always on classical music.
Mhm.
But in the course of being in the music industry, you meet so many people, you develop friendships, and you know the music that comes as a result of it is something totally fresh, totally new. And I think the one thing that I really look forward to is after I send, say, a scratch, to see how it's totally transformed into something entirely new, you know. And also, I really feel that in collaboration, fusion, and any other genre, you learn so much because your perspective widens as you are exposed to more genres. And I think it's a great way to make classical music reach the young people. I mean, I've had so many people listen to those fusion tracks and then come back and say, you know, I heard that and then I started following you.
Yes.
Then, you know, your classical music is so good. So I think it's a very nice bridge for the youth to get closer to their roots.
That's wonderful. I'm always curious to know which of you is older and by how much.
So, in fact, I'm the older one by 3.5 years to be
Oh,
precise.
Nobody believes that.
Nobody believes that, yeah, because yeah. But then a lot of the times people also confuse our names, because you know it's similar sounding, Ragini
correct,
Nandini.
correct. And
So
with me, it's Ragini, Nandini, Rohini, finished.
exactly.
You could be our sister.
I would love that. This is actually a good question. When two people have to come together and perform as a duo, of course, you're sisters, but you're individuals, and you have very different qualities as people. But what does it take to come together? And I think the older sister should be answering this at this point. What do you think it takes for two people to come together and play an instrument?
Okay, so for starters, we haven't really played too much together until now. So
Yes.
we are really looking at exploring new dimensions with each other right now, because we are having lots of ideas. We're bubbling with ideas. We're thinking of something really interesting to come up with together in the world music space. Otherwise, till now, I think Nandini and me mostly we performed only on three generations together or on fusion platforms, but on classical platforms, we haven't really performed, except of course maybe really way back in childhood, where we would have performed a few concerts. But
Correct.
we're really looking forward to coming together. In fact, we're working on something. So let's see how and the energy is fantastic, because the two creative minds coming together, which have been how do you say, shaped by the same family tradition,
Yes.
by
Yes.
the same form of learning, but having their own forms of creativity come together is very nice.
And I
So,
think one of the most important things is the music is above both her and me. So
Yeah.
if two people collaborating always remember that,
mm,
then it's always a very good experience.
Yes, it'll be interesting to know, Nandini. What do perhaps know about your sister on stage? What is the one thing about her that you know for sure? Like, this is a point where I know she's going to do this, at that aha moment. Do you have one?
Uh, see, I can read her face. So
Ah,
I
correct.
pretty much musically, non-musically, I can read her.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, so
Which brings me to our next question, which is, what do you think of classical music education in our country? Do you think that there could be more of it? Do you think that there are great places or great spaces, or the role of, perhaps the education system in imparting this? Nandini, we can start with you, and Ragini, you can answer that later.
Actually, this is an area in which my mother has been working a lot. In
Yes.
fact, she released a series 20 years back with a lot of stalwarts, right, from Ustad Zakir Hussain, Pandit Birju Maharaj, a lot of people explaining the concepts of music, tal, and all of that. And of course, definitely it should be incorporated in schools. And she's also working on a project in that because. More than becoming musicians, it's very important that we stay connected to our roots
Hmm.
because our culture, our values all stem from our music. And there's so much beauty. And the good part is nowadays I really see it come back. With the advent of social media, I see people open to a lot more forms of music, including classical. Until 7, 8 years back, it was all, just mainstream music. But
Correct.
I think education, and especially during the times of quarantine,
Hmm.
education has opened up even more because people are wanting to learn new things. They have time on their hands. So I think it's looking very positive, more positive than what it was, but it has a long way to go.
Wonderful. Ragini, would you like to add to that? Is there something that you'd wish for with the current setup of classical musical education in India?
One very nice thing which is happening is I would like to add to what she said, because in today's times, the most important thing is because of social media. You know, it's like people are getting music in bite sizes, really.
Yes.
Otherwise, a raga used to be something like 45 minutes, 1 hour elaboration, you know, and maybe a common man doesn't have the understanding or the patience to sit through it. But if you present the same Indian music in a very concise format, in like say 5 minutes or a
Hmm.
6 minute piece or even a 3 minute piece, the layman wants to actually know, he wants to see what you're offering. Because and once people are hooked to like 3 4 minutes, they're always keen to know more. They want to ask for more, and it always works like that. Even with collaborations, we've seen it. Even with small classical pieces, that's why people love pieces where it's just like 5 minutes long, 4 minutes long, and then they want more. So it's a way of giving of making things palatable to people
Yes,
slowly slowly.
We really
absolutely.
have to do that
Yeah.
because the parampara that we grew on, where I mean it's not the same anymore.
Oh,
With
it's not.
yeah,
Definitely, definitely.
I mean
I have to thank the internet because one of my favorite things of you girls to watch on the internet is the Raga Hir Beherav that you all perform together. And it's so beautiful, which actually brings me, we've talked about social media so much. And I think that this would be a great, appropriate sort of last question to leave you girls with is, is social media a great space for an artist to connect with the fans? What are you learning, from the fans or the following? What are the sort of comments that you get? Are they making demands of you? Are they only showering you with praise? Nandini, what has your experience been?
I'd actually never thought that I would ever have a following on social media. Honestly,
Good.
it's just grown over time,
Yes.
and what I really think is it's very easy for artists to get into the trap of uh, seeing what the comments are and tailoring their career as per what is in social media.
Correct.
So I think it's really, really important that an artist should still stick to what they want and they believe and the purity of what they do because social media is ultimately a form of media. While it's a great way to meet people, connect with people, and talk to people, and those are the excellent positives of it. But a comment, whether positive or negative, I don't take it too much to my heart.
Correct.
If it comes from a musician or from sources that can help me improve, then that's something that I value a little more. But at the same time, it's a great way to reach more people.
Wonderful. Ragini, what is your experience been?
According to me, social media is a great platform for anyone wanting to get their talent out. At the same time, I think, as she said, if you really believe in yourself, you really believe in what you do, you put out any music for yourself. I
Beautiful.
mean, so that then what happens is that if somebody praises you, it's very nice. But even if somebody blames you, you don't feel anything because you have done something that you believe in from the core of your heart. So I think most important is that you, whatever you put out, you must believe in it. And secondly, as a platform for usage for anything, I think everything in the world has its advantages and disadvantages. One just has to look at how to use it to the best possible way, and to not let it harm you in any way. So it's just about the correct use of social media. Everything has its good and bad, and I think for Nandini and me, we've gotten only good from it. And I mean, we've got lot of love, lot of support from people, lot of encouragement, and we're really grateful to everyone for it.
Yeah, it's
What a
true.
beautiful, beautiful last, note. I'm sure that your family is really proud of you, and I do hope to look forward to more and more music from both of you. We've already seen individual performances by you in this program today, but now I think it's chance for us to see both of you together in action. Thank you so much for speaking to me.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Rohini.
much.
I do hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. But now, the pièce de résistance of our episode. I have a very, very special performance that you're going to watch with Nandini, Ragini, and of course, their mother in concert, just for us.